Hello 9th standard students. In this video lesson, I have discussed question number 5 of exercise 6.1. Before we begin with exercise 6.2, I've also discussed few terminologies that you need to remember, and let us brush up on some important concepts that you have learned in lower class. Please have a look. Question number 5 of exercise 6.1. This was remaining. In the previous video lessons, I have already completed the remaining questions of exercise 6.1. Now this is what you need to prove. Prove that angle ROS is equal to half angle QOS minus angle POS. Now the clue out here is whatever is given here that you need to prove, one by one we will take that. Okay, what does that mean? Now the left hand side says angle ROS. So let us assume that angle ROS equal to X. Look at the diagram. So we are taking ROS as X. Now if angle ROS is X, what will be angle SOP? Because it is given the whole thing is 90 degree. So SOP will be 90 minus X. Reason being X plus 90 minus X, the total will give you 90. So we assume ROS as X, therefore SOP will be 90 minus X. Now take the next angle, that is angle QOS. Now look at angle QOS. This angle, it is the addition of these two angles. So how do you represent angle QOS? You write it as angle QOR plus angle ROS, and that is called as angle addition property. QOR is already 90. ROS, we have taken it as X. So angle QOS equal to 90 plus X. Now go to the next angle, angle POS. Angle POS, we have got it as 90 minus X. So that is what you're going to write here. Angle POS equal to 90 minus X. Okay. That means we have assumed ROS as X. We got QOS as 90 plus X. And we got POS as 90 minus X. Now let us subtract these two. So when you subtract it, you get it as 90 plus X minus 90 minus X. When you open the bracket, this is what you get, and 90 and minus 90 cancel. So the answer is X plus X, which is equal to 2X. That means angle QOS minus angle ROS is equal to 2X. Let us number it as 1. Now, you are already aware that angle ROS is equal to X. Now, look at this line that I have drawn, something like a box out here. So compare this statement and let us compare this. Isn't X half of 2X? That means ROS is half of QOS minus ROS. So that is what we have to prove. So we got the proof, we got the answer already. So you compare this statement in yellow and here statement 1. So when you compare them, what do you get? You get ROS equal to half QOS minus POS, because you know that X is half of 2X. And what represents X? ROS. That means ROS is half of this. And what is 2X? 2X is angle QOS minus ROS. So students, this is one way of doing this proof. There are different methods of solving this proof. Feel free to do whichever method you find easy. Now in the next slide, students, I have dealt with another method, same question. Have a look at it and then you decide which you find easy. From these two methods, you could copy any one in your notebook. I want you to copy down either this solution or the next solution that I am showing. Okay, so let us see another method of solving question number 5, exercise 6.1. So the same diagram and the question, this is another method. So let us have a look at it. In the figure POQ, which is a line, OR is perpendicular to line PQ. OS is another ray lying between ray OP and ray OR. Prove that angle ROS is half angle QOS minus POS. Now students, in the earlier method, we started off by assuming ROS as X. Then we found out what is QOS. Then we found out what is POS. And then later we found out what is QOS minus POS. We came to the conclusion that ROS, which is X, and QOS minus POS, which is 2X. The relation is X is half of 2X. That means ROS is half of this. So this was the earlier method. Now the new method. ROP is equal to angle ROQ. Each is 90. So that is the first sentence. Reason, each is 90. I have not mentioned out here. Now, what is this angle ROP? I have underlined it. ROP can be written as ROS plus angle SOP. So ROP is POS plus angle ROS. Okay. So what is angle ROP? It is the addition of these two angles. So it is ROS plus SOP equal to angle ROQ. Copy it down as it is. Now, this same statement I am repeating it again here. And now ROQ. Look at ROQ. Is there another way of writing ROQ? ROQ can be written as QOS minus angle ROS. See here, an arrow is put here that indicates that another way of writing ROQ is this. Okay, so what we have done, take the two angles which are congruent, express ROP as this, keep ROQ as it is, and express ROQ as this. If you want, students, you could even delete this sentence and after this you can directly come to this. Now we will transpose the angles. POS plus ROS is equal to QOS minus angle ROS. Now what have we done in the next step? This minus ROS, which is on the right hand side, goes to the left hand side. So it becomes ROS plus ROS. QOS, which is on the right hand side, remains where it is, and this POS, which is on the left hand side, is shifted to the right hand side, so it becomes negative. So minus ROS goes that side, it becomes plus ROS, plus POS, which is on the left side, it comes to the right hand side and it becomes minus POS. So that's called as transposing. Now after transposing, what do you get? SOR plus SOR is twice angle SOR or twice angle ROS, and this remains as it is. Okay, so in the next step, when you solve this further, you get ROS is equal to 2 goes down, so it becomes angle QOS minus angle POS by 2. So you get ROS as angle QOS minus angle POS divided by 2, and that is what you had to prove. So students, this was the second method of solving this question. Feel free to choose any one method Okay, and I want you to copy down either this method or the previous one in your notebook. So students, with this problem, we have completed exercise 6.1. 6 questions, all 6 have been done. I've also given you homework from that exercise. Now we move on to exercise 6.2. But before we do 6.2, we will look into certain concepts that you need to remember. Okay, let us have a look. Angles formed. Now, if you look at this diagram, which is given out here, you have line L, which is intersecting two lines, M and N, at two distinct points, P and Q. This line L is called the transversal. Okay, and since this line L, which is the transversal, is intersecting M and N at points P and Q, you get 4 angles each at point P and Q. Look here, point P, you're having these 4 angles. Here also you're having these 4 angles. What are the type of angles that you get? You have done this in standard 7th. Corresponding angles, alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles, and you have interior angles on the same side of the transversal. So have a look at it. Which are the corresponding angles? On the same side of the transversal, this side you have angle 1 and angle 5. Then you have angle 2 and angle 6. The one below, that is angle 4 and angle 8. Below here, angle 3 and angle 7. So these are pairs of corresponding angles. Now, alternate interior angle. Alternate interior angles are angles which form Z shape. So they are inside these two lines. They are sandwiched in between. So the alternate interior angles are angle 4 and angle 6, and angle 3 and angle 5. Alternate exterior angles, they lie outside this part. So you have angle 1 and angle 7, the extremes 1 and 7, and you have 2 and 8. And then you have interior angles on the same side of the transversal. You have learned this, that they always form I shape, or you could also consider as C, shape of letter C. So 4 and 5, these two are the interior angles, and you have 3 and 6, which are the interior angles on the same side of the transversal. Students, you have learned this in class 7th. You have come across all these terminologies: corresponding angles, interior angles, alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles, and interior angles on the same side of the transversal. I want you to write down this in your notebook. Copy down this slide. It will help you when we are doing problems from exercise 6.2. Now remember the following statement: corresponding angle axiom. You have to remember what is corresponding angle axiom, what is alternate angle theorem, what is interior angle theorem. Now, the corresponding angle axiom states, if a transversal intersects two parallel lines, then each pair of corresponding angles is equal. This is called the corresponding angle axiom. Now here T is the transversal. So it is intersecting the two parallel lines L and M. Okay, so when it intersects the two parallel lines L and M, what do you notice? You will see that these corresponding angles will be congruent. So look at this star, one star here and the other star here. So here, if this angle is 120, the other angle will be 120, and these two correspond to each other, they will be congruent. Now if this is 120, you know this is 60 degree. The angle corresponding to this will be this, another star, so that will also be 60. So students, you have done this, and remember this name, that they are called, and remember this sentence, it is corresponding angle axiom. So what does the corresponding angle axiom state? It states that When a transversal intersects two parallel lines, then each pair of corresponding angle will be congruent. Okay. Now we move on to another theorem, that is alternate angle theorem. Alternate angle theorem is also the same. If a transversal intersects two parallel lines, then each pair of alternate interior angle is equal. So L is the transversal intersecting parallel lines M and N. Z shape, these two angles will be congruent and these two angles will be congruent. So remember this sentence, and it is called as alternate angle theorem. Similarly, you have another theorem, that is interior angle theorem. What does the interior angle theorem state now? If a transversal intersects two parallel lines, then each pair of interior angles on the same side of the transversal is supplementary. So A plus B will be 180-degree and C plus D equal to 180-degree. So students, what have you seen in these axioms and theorems? In corresponding angle axiom, alternate angle theorem and interior angle theorem, you have noticed that the transversal is intersecting parallel lines. That means the lines are already parallel. And if the lines are already parallel, and if a transversal is intersecting them, then each and every pair of corresponding angle will be congruent. In corresponding angle axiom, in alternate angle theorem, each and every pair of alternate angle will be congruent, and in interior angle theorem, each pair of interior angle will be supplementary. So I just want you to remember these statements. So what you're going to copy down in this video lesson is the fifth question of exercise 6.1, and you could make a note of these interior angle theorem, the statement for corresponding angle axiom, and the statement for alternate angle theorem. Students, in the next video lesson, we will be dealing with converse of these theorems. Okay, so until then, goodbye and take care.